We are back. Hello again, everybody. I'm Ted Sobel. Welcome to Football Talk with NFL Network's Bridget Condon. We are going to have so much fun today. It's unbelievable how much is happening in the National Football League already as camps have opened up. All 32 teams are in business and in camp. And Bridget, I know you're going to be crazy busy. You're hitting the road like almost immediately.
Yeah, I know. I'm so happy to be here. And one more day in studio tomorrow and then off to Baltimore and it begins. I'm really, really looking forward to being at the field, smelling that fresh cut grass. So
Yes.
different when you're actually there versus in the studio hearing about what's going on
Yes,
outside.
totally get it. I turned the NFL network on this morning, and there you were talking about all the breaking news, and it's going to be nonstop for the next several months. So get used to it, right?
I know it's been a little boring, a little slow this summer.
Yes.
And now it's like something I was writing scripts this morning and you can't even finish a sentence without something new happening, which I love.
We're 6 weeks away from the Eagles and Packers in their football game in Brazil, and 7 days away from the Hall of Fame game. So, I mean, we don't waste any time here. Are you going to be covering any games specifically, or only camp during preseason?
We're not covering a ton of preseason games. I think we're doing seven. I am doing August 24th. Detroit is hosting Steelers. Yeah, I believe
Okay.
it's Steelers at Detroit, August 24th, the Saturday.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, I know in an alternate universe, you got Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are all suddenly in the press box, which makes absolutely no sense. Now, you grew up in Boston. I assume you were a Patriots fan. Were you?
Yes, growing up, of course, I was a Patriots fan. It's different. I want to preface by saying, as a reporter, I would not say I'm a fan of any team.
No,
It just
then.
kind of changes when you get into this role.
Yes, yes, totally. But so what was it like seeing those championships early on in your days?
It was amazing. I always say the reason why I became a sports reporter, not necessarily the Patriots, but at that time the Red Sox were so good too. And I,
Right.
I tell this story of back in 2004 ALCS between the Red Sox Yankees. We
Yeah.
actually were at game four. It was a Sunday night. The Yankees were up 3 games to none and the Yankees were winning like late in the game. And my mom looked to my dad and was like, Dennis, we got to get the girls home. They have school tomorrow. My dad was like, "You never leave a baseball game early." And she was like, "They're going to lose. Like, the season's going to be over. Come on, let's beat the traffic." We ended up staying. They ended up winning. Poppy hit a homer in extra innings. They ended up then going on to win the entire series. And I mean, it was just, reverse of the curse and everything
Yeah.
for them to win another championship was amazing. And I remember walking through the streets in Boston, high fiving people and feeling this electricity that I'd never felt before. It's the first time I realized that sports can bring people of all backgrounds together. And that's what I love about it. And that's how you felt growing up in New England. We were so blessed and lucky to have not only the Red Sox, but the Patriots succeeding at that time too. I remember in middle school or even elementary school, our principal was a huge Steelers fan. So he would come to school in Steelers gear and we all had our past gear on and we would joke with him. And it really started from a young age. Like, we would have spirit days and it was one of those things where you either learned football and you learned how to cheer for this team, or you had to find another city because
Right.
you weren't going to get along with the people in New England. And then my junior and senior year of high school, our football team actually played in the Super Bowl, which was the state championship at Gillette, which was one of the coolest experiences. So,
I bet.
yeah, I have a lot of ties there, and it's definitely led me to being where I'm at right now.
Yeah, we're talking NFL in a second, but I got to tell you that reverse of the curse day, October
Oh
the
God,
27th, I'll never forget it because I had a phone call with Babe Ruth's daughter that day.
no way,
Yeah, and we
no
talked about
way.
what would your dad be doing? Would he be sitting back and watching this game? And she said, "Be rooting for the Red Sox all the way, baby." Isn't that great?
I had a, I mean, that year was incredible. I had a cardboard cutout, like life size of Johnny Damon in my room. I was obsessed with him. I still remember my mom coming in my room before school after that season and was like, or I think it was that next season or 2 seasons, and she was like, "Johnny got traded." And I was like,
Wow.
"Don't say it. Don't say it. Where?" And she was like, "The Yankees." And I was like, "No." And that was my first heartbreak. I remember
Oh
we had
God.
like a bonfire that week at in our neighborhood, and we all were throwing our Johnny Damon gear in the fire.
Are
It
you
was bad,
serious?
but
Oh wow.
yeah, we've gotten through it.
All right, well, let's talk some football. By the way, happy birthday to my old Sports USA teammate and former LA Rams head coach, John Robinson, who is 89 years old today. I got great stories, but we don't have enough time to talk about that today. But there's John in the middle in his blue Rams coat, and there he is next to me in our Sports USA gear. But that was a long time ago. Anyway, let's talk some football. This is my 50th year of camps. How many decades have you been
Wow.
doing this now?
One.
I love it. I love it. What is it about? Any idea why Baltimore and Cincinnati are your new hangouts?
I've done Cincinnati a ton. It started when they came out here and played in the Super Bowl. I actually was covering them. That was my first season with NFL Network, and I was outside their team hotel that whole week. So we actually don't have a reporter. A lot of people think that we have beat reporters in every city, and that's
Yeah.
not the case. So we don't have anyone really in the AFC North. And so I kind of had been thrown into that when they came out in the Super Bowl. And then the past 2 seasons or so, I've been there a lot, which is great. I mean, it's a great organization and a lot of great storylines. Joe Burrow is so fun to cover. And then with Baltimore, I've done a bit of them as well. I actually, before coming to LA, I went to college in Virginia and I was in the North Carolina area. So that kind of mid Atlantic area I'm familiar with. So yeah, they try to get us out to all the different camps during training camp because, that's a time when coaches are a little more laxed and you can talk with players and it's not, so dire as week
Right.
one where, we got a game to play come Sunday.
All right. Let's talk Joe Burrow. Who the hell is this guy?
Oh my god, this is amazing. We talked about this yesterday on the Insiders. Little Eminem. So I guess what happened is BJ Hill, who I actually covered in college at NC State, great guy. He said to Joe Burrow, like, "Hey man, if you dye your hair blonde and buzz it, like I'll do the same." And let's
Oh,
remember, Joe Burrow had always been dealing with injuries in training camp, right? Like
yep, yep,
even back to 2020, he didn't play in preseason because there was no preseason. It was COVID year. Then in 2021, he was coming back from that ACL. Then in 2022, he was dealing with the appendectomy. And then
yeah.
last year it was a calf strain. So there's always been something. Of course, he's still working back from the wrist injury, but that happened, a long time ago. And so he said he was bored. So I'm happy that football's back so that he now has something to do to, help with the boredom. He says it's temporary and probably not going to last all season. But look, if this is like when I saw him show up to Super Bowl or to training camp, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's Super Bowl or bust. Like you don't
Right.
dye
Right.
your hair blonde unless you're making a statement. Like this is it, man.
Any word on his wrist? Is he 100% ready to go?
Yep, he's cleared for contact.
Okay.
Zach Taylor said that, I believe, on Monday. So
Okay.
he will play in the preseason, which he's never completed a preseason pass. He's only played 3 preseason snaps.
Right. Yeah.
So
He's not
that's
going to
going to
play
be
much
different. And
anyway.
he's not going to play much, but if you think about the Bengals, typically they've had these slow starts. The past 3
Yep.
seasons, they've started 5-4, and then they go on those late season runs. Even last season with him getting injured, they went on a little run there. They had a chance to
True.
make the playoffs late in the season. And so Burrow and the team have all been talking about, we don't want to start slow. Like, let's go out right out of the gate. And they're
Yep.
hoping maybe to get some of that preseason, juice will help them feel a little bit more ahead come week one. So we'll see. I mean, I know teams do different things to try to see if preseason really makes a difference, and we'll see.
So did I see you out at Chargers camp opening day? Not me personally, but on TV.
No, that's not me.
Oh, well, I know that's not you, but
No, I've been in studio all week.
oh,
So,
okay. I thought you were out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No. We've been talking about it on TV for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not out into the wild until Saturday. But I was there for the opening of the Bolt, which let me tell you,
Yes.
that facility is incredible. When I walked in there, even just driving up, I was like, oh, this is different, because I've covered the Chargers the past 3 seasons and
Right.
been driving down to Costa Mesa, and when you drive up to that facility that they were renting essentially in Costa Mesa, it was like an office building. There were other, organizations there and, like,
Yeah.
companies, plus the Chargers. It did not feel like any other NFL facility. So, I think this is really gonna impact just the morale. I mean, there's enough lockers in the locker room for, people who come and try out during mini camp and training camp. Before, they had to make these, like, makeshift lockers they would put in the center of the locker room for those guys, and it
Right.
just kinda threw off the vibe. So this is it's gonna be great, and everything that comes with Jim Harbaugh, how can you not be excited to see what happens this season?
Yeah, just the fact that he feels like he came out of the womb again, I think is really special, don't you?
Just the fact that he, like, is saying that as if he remembers coming out of the womb, like, am I missing something here?
Yeah, exactly. I took this picture of Justin Herbert. I was their closing day at Costa Mesa, their last day ever there, and he was in a great mood. No reason not to be. But let's talk about the Chargers'
Yeah.
potential this year, because obviously it's a culture change that what Harbaugh
Yep.
does best, right? So the first year, the first
Mhm.
minute, it's going to be different. But you got to get rid of Brandon Staley and get him out of there, and they did. And so now it's okay, Justin, it's your team again, but now he doesn't have many weapons to deal with. That's going to be an
Okay, look,
interesting
yeah, I mean, he lost his top 3 targets in
yeah,
Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, but yesterday, Jim Harbaugh praised Quentin Johnston, who, remember, he got a lot of heat last season. A lot of people were saying, even during training camp, this guy can't catch the ball. He didn't have a ton of drops. He actually had only 2 drops out of the 65 targets.
right,
The issue was when he caught the ball, he didn't get very far. He averaged
right.
like 1 yard, and he didn't create enough separation between defenders. So if he can be a weapon for the Chargers, I think that's huge, because remember, he was a first round draft pick, right? Like, he
Yeah,
is the guy that um they used
yeah.
their pick on. So they're hoping to get something out of him. And then Lad McConkey, I'm really, really excited to see this training camp. Justin
Okay.
Herbert praised him during minicamp, saying that it looks like, he's been in this system for years and he felt comfortable like a vet. And it's all about building that chemistry, right? This is what training camp's about, is because it's so important for a quarterback to have that confidence in his
Yeah.
pass catchers, so that if you're in a game and the defense is coming at you and if you look to a guy that you're like, I don't really trust him, or I don't think he's going to make this catch, you're just going to get sacked. So for him to be able to build this chemistry with these guys is going to be crucial. And
Right.
then, the running game too. That's something that we think about Austin Eckler, and, one of the best fantasy players in recent
Yes.
years, but the run game never got going. How many times did I have to go in the locker room on a Monday and ask the guys about the run game? Like, they were sick of answering the questions. We were sick of asking it. But for whatever reason, it just never got going. That will make a huge difference for this Chargers team if they can figure it out.
Yeah, well, part of that's the O-line too, and it was very average, and that doesn't help their cause. And Jim Harbaugh is a run guy first, so that's going to
Yep.
really be it. Does he have a running game that he can say, okay, I feel comfortable with this?
Well, I mean, he made a splash move in drafting Joe Alt with the 5th overall
Yeah.
pick, the offensive lineman, and they've built up their O-line. I do truly believe that it's going to be different than in years past, and we're going to see momentum in that run game.
Okay. Now, what about the Rams? That's where we met up at OTA several weeks ago, and I see Matthew Stafford's got himself a new deal, and it's all
Yep.
smiles now for Coach McVay.
Yeah, I'm excited for this Rams team. I think I saw a picture from Jordan Rodriguez earlier this morning. Matthew
Oh,
Stafford looks
okay.
skinny. He looks like
Really?
he's in
Too
he's
skinny?
not too skinny, but he's ready. He's ready to be out there. I'm excited to see how the team looks without Aaron Donald. Of course, that is the number one question. I
Absolutely.
love Kobe Turner. I think I saw something yesterday that he might be dealing with a little bit of an injury. Um, he's great. And just in talking with him last year and everything that he learned from Aaron Donald, I think he will put this team in a great position to succeed. And then what's Puka Nakua going to do in his second
Yeah,
year?
exactly.
Like, he has a whole year now in this NFL world. It's an adjustment, especially a guy like him, a late round pick, and he's a star. Like whether guys say it or not, like that is a huge shift, and you're dealing with things you never dealt with before. Now he's got that swagger, he's got that confidence. He's just the guy. Like he doesn't have to deal with trying to fit in or like trying to figure out everything. I'm really excited to see how they use him and Cooper Cup. And another interesting part for the Rams too, along with the Chargers, is that run game.
Yeah, no doubt. But what about the run game and that rookie? This guy
Tyron
who
will.
this kid, okay, the short guy who's listed at 5'8", and I think he's closer to 5'6". And we had a few laughs over this that day out there. Is he actually taller than me? I'm 5'7". I don't know about Blake Corum there. What do you think?
Yeah, Blake Corum is taller than you. We confirmed.
Oh, wait a minute.
That.
I got proof here. Hold on a second. Look at that shoe. I took a close up of his shoe. You see how tall that is?
What shoes were you wearing?
I was wearing flats.
All right, all right.
I
Look, I'm
think it's a
excited for
toss-up.
Blake Corum. Michigan guy. It'll be really interesting for him against Jim Harbaugh in
Right.
that preseason game.
Yeah.
In talking with him, he was such a nice guy.
Yeah,
And,
was he?
a guy that's just eager to get out there. And I think he's gonna be a great addition to what the Rams already have on offense.
Yeah, my biggest concern for them is also the O-line for the
Yeah,
length of the season. They had stretches of playing like, wow, I didn't think they would be this good last year. Now can they do it for a whole
yeah.
year and prove they're a playoff team?
Look, that's the issue. If we look through all 32 teams, I think we could say that about every team. The offensive line is always going to be that point where if something happens, if someone gets hurt and you don't have good depth, you're out of the playoffs. This
Right.
is one of those units that is under talked about, but so important. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see the different combinations the Rams throw out there during training camp. But I'm feeling optimistic for sure.
Okay, good. The Raiders are back in Southern California again, maybe for the last time, with the issues there that they didn't want them to be within 75 miles of the Rams and the Chargers, kind of a thing. But I'd rather be here than in 4,000 degrees Las Vegas right now. So what is it about the Raiders that you like? Because so many question marks at quarterback.
Yeah, I like the development of Aiden O'Connell. In talking to some of the coaches there last season, they were high on him.
Yeah.
We didn't see them draft a quarterback in the draft this season, which I think a lot of people were thinking they were going to move up and try to get one of those top 3 quarterbacks. I know they love Jaden Daniels, but I don't think they could get to that number 2 position. Of course, he went to the Commanders, but
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how far does Aiden O'Connell progress at year 2. We see a lot of these quarterbacks tend to make the jump really in year 3, but because of the experience that he got last season, he really didn't do as bad as maybe people thought because of their record. He gave them a chance there at the end, and it'll be really, really just interesting to see how it's a whole new kind of like the Chargers. It's a whole
Yeah.
new vibe over there at the Raiders. Tom Telesco. I
Yep.
mean, it's so funny that he is like down at Costa Mesa
Yeah.
doing training camp there again.
It's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's funny. Antonio Pierce, I'm really excited for him. He seems like
Yeah.
a great guy.
He is a
I'm
great guy.
excited that he has the opportunity. So yeah, the AFC West is just such a fascinating division when you look at it because there's a lot of question marks. I remember talking about it 2 seasons ago when we were like, oh, Russell with the why am I blanking?
Denver.
Broncos, and then
Yeah.
we had this Justin Herbert and everything going on.
Well,
with the
everybody says it's the
Chargers and
greatest
Patrick
division of
Mahomes.
all time, and it was flop.
Yeah, and then it didn't. So I'm like,
Right.
maybe this is the year. I mean, you're always going to have the Chiefs, but
Right.
hopefully the division can lead up to the hype that was there 2 seasons ago.
Right. And staying on the West Coast a little bit, Brandon Ayuk. He's I love the term hold in. We didn't used
Yep.
to use that term, but that's what he is, right? And now you got
Yep.
Trent Williams as a holdout. So
That was kind of surprising to me.
yeah, really.
Love Trent Williams. I
Yep.
understand it though. He's one of the best. I mean, he makes that team what it is. He's such a big part of
Absolutely.
the offensive line, and he's such a big part of that locker room. I think that goes, overlooked a little bit. And so I understand it. Like, these guys want to get paid. They're putting their body out there. Like, you got to protect yourself. The issue for the 49ers is they have so much talent that they're trying to figure out, how do we pay all these guys? Like, I
Absolutely.
think I'm sure there are a handful of teams that wish they had those problems, right?
Yes.
Like, rather
Like
than
every team.
having, yeah. So it's a, great problem to have. How do they figure it out? I think they probably will do something with Brandon Ayuk, where maybe some incentives or adjust a little bit, but I don't see them completely giving him a new contract
No.
ahead of the season.
I agree.
Especially with Ricky Pearsall, their rookie, who, they've
Good
spoken
point.
highly about, right?
Yep,
That's the thing that
exactly.
stinks about these players that are so talented when they're in their fifth year. So they want to get paid, but then teams, they get these draft picks, and it's not fair. But if the draft pick excels, they're so cheap, and it's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're already running a little short on time. Got to talk about the Cowboys. They're already in
Wow.
Oxnard, and it's about contracts there and not about on the field. Even though Jerry Jones says business as usual. Really, Jerry?
Yeah, we actually took his press conference live today on NFL Network, and the two
Yep.
things that stuck out to me, the two trends of that press conference, a lot of people were questioning him about the lack of success in the postseason, right? How long are we going to talk about the Cowboys and continue to give them the credit when the words aren't matching up with the action? The
Yep.
lack of being able to win a postseason game, get into an NFC Championship game, get into a Super Bowl. Then it's the trio of contracts, right? Dak
Yep.
Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb, who is not in Oxnard. He is holding out. Our Jane Slater reporting he's working out in Houston,
Okay.
kind of working for that, hoping for something to happen. He's entering, I believe he's in his fifth year too, and hoping for something. I mean, the wide receiver market got completely reset this offseason, and I
Exactly.
think he's hoping for some reassurance with that, as well as he's in his final year of his rookie deal. And then Dak and Micah Parsons, again, deserve new contracts.
Something. Yeah.
I believe it was Stephen Jones that said, it was either Stephen or Jerry. I think it was
Okay.
Stephen that said that he doesn't believe that this will be the last season with Dak. So
Okay.
we'll see.
We'll see.
I
Yeah.
think it depends what happens come February, honestly.
Is it the last season for Mike McCarthy though? If they don't win and win big?
I this is just my personal opinion. I
Sure.
don't know this factually. I would
Right.
say yes. If they don't, win a playoff game, definitely. I think Jerry Jones he's a businessman, and he wants things. He wants what he wants, and if he's not getting it, he's on to the next. I don't
Right.
think I think we saw last year there was even questions about Mike McCarthy's future in Dallas, and he stayed, but how long is that security? How far does that security go?
I got a feeling Bill Belichick's shadow is sort of in the background there somewhere.
Yeah. Wow, that would be interesting, huh?
Yeah, that wouldn't shock me at all. One last thing, we got to talk about Mr. Walk Like an Egyptian, Aaron Rodgers. He's back from Egypt. And what does this tell? And this team is loaded on both sides. They should really be the favorites to win the AFC East.
Look, I was kind of taken back when he said he was in Egypt. Did we get any more details on what he was doing there?
I
I need
think
to read up
making a
on
new,
that.
he's trying to be a pharaoh or something. I have no idea.
That's what
He's
you're going to
Aaron.
get with Aaron Rodgers. Look, this
Exactly.
is, kind of like the 49ers have problems other teams would want. I'm sure other teams would love to have Aaron Rodgers with everything that comes with Aaron Rodgers. You have to understand that he's going to do whatever he wants to do. And if that means going to Egypt over minicamp, okay, well, as long as he, September, whatever that day is in Santa Clara when he takes the field week one,
Right.
as long as he's slinging the ball, as long as he's helping your team win,
Yep.
whatever, go to Egypt, go to Antarctica, do whatever you want.
And here he is right here. I interviewed both of these guys at Pebble Beach. That's Josh Allen and Aaron. They're golf buddies. Now they're in the same division. I mean, it's
Yeah,
going to be
that's
crazy.
crazy. I'm excited to see. I hope and pray that we get a full season of Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, because I remember being so excited seeing him run out with the American flag
Yep.
on 9/11 in New York City, and then it was over. Like,
Yep.
let us at least see what happens, you know?
Yep. And unfortunately, we're running out of time. I just want to show you this logo, and we're going to do this again. See that Bridget's Kitchen? We got to talk
Yes, I
about your
love that.
food because I love your Instagram. Tell everybody how they can find you on Instagram.
Yeah, at Bridget Condon TV.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
post a lot of fun stuff, a lot of cooking. I love to make healthy versions of meals. I have a really great crab cake recipe that has been one of my favorites to make. Super easy. It's on
really,
my Instagram.
okay.
You can also find it on my TikTok, which I believe is just at Bridget Condon. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I love to eat, but I love to find healthy ways to make great dishes.
No, I watched it. I see all your stuff. You got all kinds of salads and just like everything is in the salad. It's like 4,000 ingredients, it seems like.
Got to get those veggies in before you're on the road and eating like a kind bar for every meal when the season
Exactly.
kicks off.
I know you got to run. You're still working this afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. I hope we can do this again soon, maybe before the season starts, and catch up and find out. Hey, we're gonna have to make some predictions eventually, but not day one of training camp.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Hope to see you one of these LA teams soon.
Yeah, I'll be out there real shortly. You have a great day.
All
Okay,
right. You as
take
well.
care.
Thank you.
All righty, that's Bridget Condon of NFL Network, and we appreciate her time so much. It was a lot of fun to catch up with Bridget, and we are going to have some great shows for you tomorrow. I got two of them uh, in the works, and the first one is going to be the trainers, Gary Vitti and the former Los Angeles Lakers trainer and other trainer for, let's say, almost 40 years in his career, Pete Demers, formerly of the Los Angeles Kings. They have 1,000 stories to talk about, and they're going to be on with me tomorrow at 11:30 in the morning Pacific time. And then on Friday, which is tomorrow at 1:30 p.m., we got two shows. Don Buford, basketball, I should say, baseball Hall of Famer, team Hall of Famer with the Baltimore Orioles, former USC baseball and football player, played for Rod Dado there. I mean, he just has some unbelievable stories. He played in Japan. We're going to catch up with Don Buford tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Pacific time. In the meantime, thanks again to Bridget Condon. She's outstanding. She's got 1,000 stories and really is a great reporter for the NFL Network. Hope you could check her out. She's still working this afternoon and will be. And then heads out of town in the next few days, heading for Cincinnati's training camp and a heck of a lot more. One thing's for sure, next time we get together, we're going to cover a lot more detail. We'll hopefully get a little more than 25 minutes and find out what's really going on in the National Football League. Until then, thanks for watching, everybody. We will talk soon. This is Touching Greatness.